Hey everyone, this is Melody Rondeau. I'm going to be showing us how to access our data in OTUS. So first of all, of course, you need to sign into OTUS. And then of course, this only works if you've already given an assessment. So after you've done all your assigning the assessment and grading it, then you can come into OTUS and look at the data. So all of the assigning and grading, creating is under assessments. To find the data, you're going to come down here in this main menu to analytics. So if you click on that and then move away from that, you actually need the secondary menu here, and you're going to go to assessments. That's where you're going to find all of your assigned assessments. So right now it has a filter, so always want to double check the filter at the top is showing me anything for the month of August, which since the school year has not yet started, I do not have any tests in August. So you can, it has a thing to show filters. You have a lot of ways you can filter, or you can just click here and it will give you a very quick version of it. I'm just going to pick all the assessments I've given for all time. So I have lots of options, and then you can see once I click on it, it gives me a whole bunch. If I search, I'm going to search geometry. And then it will just let me look at geometry. And if you know the whole title, you can type that in. I'm going to look at Unit 1, Test 2 from last school year. So I'm going to take a look at that. So right at the top, it tells you, oh, look, I had graded all of, every student ended up taking this test. So I can see that there. But more than that, I mean, so you do have that. It will tell you if you have not yet had every student take it. As you scroll down, you get the next section here, which is performance breakdown. This has a lot of good information. You can see different performance things. A lot of kids do really well on this test, but then I had quite a significant number in a very low bracket. So that's just kind of a quick overall. There's also this menu over here, which will allow you to do some other fun things. So you always want to check out those menus. Anytime you see the little 3 bars or even the 3 dots, it will give you some things about how to change up how you're viewing it. But over here, the main one, this is overall performance. So I had 3 classes of geometry last year, so this was my overall performance for my students. If I want to look at class, so I can go by class, and I can see, look, my 6th period geometry, that was their class average right there, is the 68.97. But I can see overall this is how they scored. It also tells me how many students, and I can compare that with my 3rd period, which had 33 students and did not perform as well. So then I can start to look at, well, what happened differently in 6th period as compared to 3rd period. You can see there's lots of other options about how to look at this by student group. So this one, some of the groups that come up are a little bit weird, but you can see some of the things here, how students performed from different groups. You can also go to ethnicity, race, and see how each different group there, because I know one of our subgroups are that we're focusing on as a part of our WASC is Black or African Americans. You can see how those students compare to the overall class or overall students that you teach. We also have gender, which is kind of fun to look at. And this one, my female students did better than the male students. So what happened there, I'm not sure. Usually, I would say usually, a lot of times these are very similar, but when we see a discrepancy like that, it's definitely something to look at and to consider what's going on. You can also do it by grade level. This one, of course, on mine doesn't have that. I'm not sure if that is my specific tags here if it doesn't have grade level, but in theory you should be able to look at grade level. I'm going to flip it back to overall, and we're going to scroll down. This will do a quick summary for you. You have your highest score on the test, the average score, and this is kind of a fun one, the average time to complete it. So you can see how long students took, only 13 minutes and 30 seconds on average to complete this particular test. Then you have question analysis, which of course is going to be really important. So things to notice here, of course, they tell you how many students, what percentage and how many students that was that got it correct. You can see the answer choices here and where students picked answers. So this one, also notice on the side, it does tell you the type. So this one, whoopsie, I just clicked it, but this one was a multiple response. So it had more than one response. So that's why you see, sorry, scroll back down here. That's why you see these couple, that there were a couple ways they could select correct answers. So a lot of kids were choosing the correct answers, but maybe didn't pair up the right 2 answers. There were only supposed to be 2, and you can see there's a lot in these 3 different ones. So that would be something to look into more in depth. So depending on the question type, you'll notice these do not have numbers here. That's because they're a different type of question. So depending on how the question is, you may, if it's not multiple choice, you won't have an A, B, C, D type of situation. On this particular assessment, there were only 10 questions. If you have more, you'll just go on to page 2. But also, if you notice when I clicked on this, you can click pretty much anywhere in this line and look at the test question. So if I want to see, oh, look, everyone did really good on this one. What do we understand? Here's the question. It gives me what the question prompt was. And then over here, it also shows you the different students that got it, percentages that got it right and wrong. And once again, anytime you see that menu, it's worth clicking on to see what you can do with it, because there's some options about how to take that information out. You can also see down here how students did on this question. It was worth 10 points, so it is giving me information about each one of the students that I believe missed that question. So there you go. You can see how it was scored there for those students. So this would be my 10 students. Here they are. These are the 10 students that missed that question. So there's a lot in this particular thing, and you just go back. You can keep scrolling through. You also have the option over here, this little button, really important. This allows you to download a spreadsheet. So if you want to see, if you want this in an Excel spreadsheet, it will download it. There you go. Question analysis. I can click on it and I can see it this way. I don't feel like I use that particular spreadsheet as often as I use the one down here, student performance. So I'm going to immediately start by clicking on that so you can see what you get. Hopefully, come on, honey. I did not see it pop up. Oh, it just popped up there. There we go. Okay, so this one has a lot of information on it. So you can see it has the students, their information, the class information. There's a lot here. It has all these numbers, which are questions. They're tagged at the top. One thing to keep in mind is if you have a question that has more than one part to it, you'll notice these going across. This is 1.1, 2.1. They're all 0.1s going across. But as I continue, maybe I don't have it in this one. If you have a question that has more than one part within the question, like here where it says 9.1, then I might have a 9.2. That would be a part 2. So apparently on this particular assessment, I didn't have any of those, but it is something to watch out for your question. Things is to look at how that's graded. So it breaks it down for you. Again, lots of information here for you to go through and analyze your data. And you can see it, you can just scroll through and look at all the ones. It's a lot to play with. Here you have the option to sort. So if you want to do a different sort other than first name, last name, you could do it by points and see who were my kids that got lots of points, and then who are my kids that maybe didn't get as many points. You can break it down that way. So there's a lot of options and a lot of things to click and play with. At the bottom, if you tag standards, then you can look at how your students did on this assessment on those different standards. So this particular standard was GCO 9, prove theorems about lines and angles, and you can see how my students performed. And again, more things to click here and look at. And if I had this particular assessment only had the one standard, but if I had multiple standards, it would have multiple bars like this. So I think that's basically the gist of looking at this. Again, there's lots of things to click and look at. Again, remember to always double check those 3-bar menus and the 3 dots, because they do give you options about how to change how you view it. And of course, the little download button in the top right corner of each of the boxes, definitely a useful thing. And I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoy using OTUS. Have a great day.